Welcome to video 1.3, Enabling Visual Interactions. In this video, we will dive into Power BI Desktop. We will create 3 linked visualizations to form our first interactive report. Let's start up Power BI Desktop. You will be greeted with this welcome screen. If you haven't already set up an account, you can do so now or skip it. To save some time, we'll open a blank report I created by importing CSVs from the data folder in the course code files. It's a simple model I've created of a hypothetical online grocery store customer database. The numbers are made up, but the problems are real. Click Open Other Reports. Browse to where you put the course code files and go into PBIX. Open customerdata.pbix. Let's see what we're working with. If you look over to the right, you'll see we have a few basic tables: categories, customer, groceries, invoice, and orders. Okay, my naming convention leaves something to be desired, but you get the drift. Let's start by trying to find our big sellers. When comparing quantitative data like sales numbers and prices, it's best to choose a chart with a positional axis, like a bar chart. In fact, the humble bar chart is quite simply the best technology for comparative visualization. You can see here that it is immediately obvious with the bar chart that cattle dominate the herd. The line chart is also effective for comparison, but as it only visualizes the differences, it visually misrepresents the actual amounts. So, use it for visualizing change. Back in Power BI, the bar chart's effectiveness is why here in the Visualizations palette, you'll see no fewer than 9 variations. We'll start simple. Click to drop a stacked bar chart on the canvas. Immediately you see a list of field wells. These are drop targets for fields from the tables. We want to compare products, so we'll drop the product name on the axis. We're looking for sales volumes, so we'll drag in order count to value, which Power BI will sum up for us by default. We could look at average instead, using the drop-down menu for the field, but we'll stick with sum. We'll expand this out, and we can immediately see that glucose is our top seller by order volume. What if we're also interested in price? For this, we'll need to turn things around a bit, choosing a line and stacked column chart. Notice that if you have a visual selected in the canvas, then choose a different visualization from the palette, Power BI will switch the selected visual to the new type and attempt to carry over the data bindings. Your mileage may vary with this feature, but it is handy when you're exploring like we are now. Add price to the line well, and Bob's your uncle. However, the prices are much lower in value than the bars, so the line is all squished at the bottom. We'll need a second axis for this. Let's pop over to the Format pane, and in Y-axis, scroll down to Show Secondary, and turn it on. Now the random data becomes apparent. Prices are all over the place. Nevertheless, you can see how this might be useful for seeing if, for example, your most popular item is also your most expensive. In this case, popular glucose is actually one of our cheapest items, a fairly realistic result. Alright, well, now that we've covered what we're selling and how much, let's look at where. Let's make a map. Click in the blank area of the canvas to deselect the bar chart so that the next click in the visualization palette creates a new visual. Our customers come with latitude and longitude. Let's use them. And boom, you can see our worldwide distribution. But where's the product going? Let's size the circles by the total number of orders in the region. Looking good, but you know our manager is going to ask us about trends. Let's throw them a bone. Make some room for another chart, click in the blank area to deselect the map, and click Line Chart in the Visualization palette. Under Invoice, drag the invoice date to the axis. And from Orders, drag Count to Values. With nothing selected, you'll see the total order volume over the first 2 years or so the shop was open. By default, it's aggregated by year, but if you want more detail, you can delete the periods you don't care for from the list. Let's look at it monthly. We had a good summer, but November was disappointing. If you click a product bar in the top bar chart, Power BI will filter the data to just that product. You can see that glucose was huge in June. Click on glucose again to clear the filter. And with that, we have an interactive dashboard. We'll be coming back to this one in video 1.5, so choose File, Save As, to save a copy, name it, and click Save. In the next video, we'll talk about KPIs.